My name is Heather Esposito. I'm the Director of Learning, Development, and Colleague Engagement for a company called BPM. We are a top 35 accounting firm located in the Bay Area, and I've been there for almost 3 years now. Prior to that, I was Senior Manager of Leadership Development globally for a company called Herman Miller. So I was responsible for leadership development across the family of 19 brands. So I've been in this space for quite some time. I'm also a professional certified coach and have been working with the Leadership Circle since 2019. I found the world of executive coaching after being coached. So I had the experience of working with a coach and realizing how powerful of an experience that could be. Fast forward a few years in my life, I was working in the learning function for the sales department at Herman Miller. So I was working to support just that one department and audience. And we were looking at how did we help our sales leaders become better coaches to their teams. And I had some experience with coaching and said, this is something I'd really like to get involved in. I know how powerful it can be, but I don't know how to do it. So that started me on my journey of going to get credentialed as a coach and then figuring out how I would teach others how to do that skill set myself. I think as leaders, we have such an important responsibility to those we have the privilege of leading. And I believe fundamentally that every employee deserves to have a really great leader. And so if they're going to have a really great leader, we have to show up and help them understand what great leadership looks like, how you develop it, and then how you deploy it in your daily work. I was initially introduced to Leadership Circle through another coach friend of mine who was using it in his organization and said, I think that you would really enjoy this tool and the philosophy and behind it. And so I started off by reading Mastering Leadership, just fell in love with that book. I think I've read it 6 times now, if I can count the number of underlines and the different pens and pencils that I've used throughout each one. So did go to get certified in Leadership Circle back in 2019. And I think that's been one of the most powerful coaching tools I've used, because I find that the insights that it uncovers probably fast forwards me 3 months in a coaching relationship of what it might take for me to pull some of that out of an individual just by working with them over time. Of course, you get in-depth instruction and exposure to not only the philosophy and the theory and the concepts that go behind it and how it was designed and how it was structured to support a leader's journey, and information on how to conduct a session. The materials are amazing. I mean, as a facilitator, I really don't have to spend a lot of time in preparation because everything is so well laid out. And then, of course, we got to do the work of the work, being able to spend time with your peers, doing deep developmental work, deep developmental exploration. To me, it's really sacred space to be able to do that work, hold that space for others, and have that kind of vulnerability and the great growth that can happen when we allow ourselves to do that. The most impactful learning I had as a result of the certification itself is how robust and how many ways we can use the materials. With the new upgrade, there's self-study pieces that we can use for reinforcement. There's opportunities to make this, a half-day workshop, a whole-day workshop, virtual, in-person. There's so many. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure on knowing your audience and all of the ways that you can use the resources and tools. So I think seeing those upgrades and knowing how much autonomy and flexibility I had within the whole system was wonderful to see. I think the experience I have had over the last few years since the first time I went through the certification, and what I really love about the leadership system is I recently had the opportunity to take a group for the first time through the entire curriculum, start to finish, over the period of 2 years. So we started with an initial leadership circle. We did those debriefs. We did promise of leadership. We went through every single module of the leadership system in small cohorts. And then we did a final leadership circle, the backside at the end of the program. And I was able to have those results done through a statistical analysis that Leadership Circle helped me with, where we could look at the growth between their initial profile and their ending profile. And what was really cool to see is that the anecdotal things that they were saying about their growth and how they thought they were showing up differently as leaders and how they were experiencing themselves differently completely matched with what we were seeing in the quantitative data. One of the things that I have always appreciated when I have participated in a leadership circle certification, whether it was for the circle itself or the CLA or leadership system, is the caliber and quality of the people that you get to spend time with. I often don't get to spend time in a room with people who are as geeky about adult development theory and coaching and human transformation and all of those things as you do. But this work draws that crowd out. And the intelligence and the sincerity and the genuineness and the authenticity of the people in that room is amazing. And I love putting myself in that space with people who are smarter than me, and I'm learning from them, sharing with them what I've learned. I just love the quality of the people that are attracted. I mean, people with a true heart for humanity that just want to be part of creating a better future and a better world and more conscious leaders. And so I think that's something that should not be underestimated, is what it's like to be in a room with 20, 24 people who all feel the same way as you do and are all really committed to that outcome. So that's a pretty special part of the certifications. I just would love for every person to be able to experience the power of not only the leadership circle, but when you dig in and you really use the leadership system and that whole curriculum to support somebody's growth, how exciting it is. Any area where we want to grow, whether we want to be better at speaking up and sharing our perspective, whether we want to be able to be more visionary and be able to bring people along with us, or whether we want to develop deeper connections with people. What gets in the way of that are some of the things that we do that may have been strengths for us, but they're really about ways we show up to protect ourselves when we feel scared or when we feel like we're at risk. And it gets in the way of these amazing things that we want to accomplish, these things that we want to become, the ways that we want to show up and have great influence with others. And if that's something that you really want to work towards, and those things that feel purposeful and meaningful and like they're going to have impact and they're going to last beyond you. I mean, for me, legacy is just such a huge deal. If that's really what you're about, then what are you doing to help support yourself and others to get there? And so if you have any ability to play a role in influencing and like laying out a path that others can follow, I can't think of any more powerful leadership development work than you can do besides this.